morning, squad. Welcome back to MadMizzy Sports Morning Show, the #1 spot for everything sports talk, sports news, sports debate in the morning. Happy hump day. Hope y'all have a great day today. We got a beautiful rundown today. Of course, we're going to go back, touch on the 102-116 loss of the Los Angeles Lakers to the Cleveland Cavaliers. Anthony Davis leaving the game early in the first quarter. Then we're going to speak on the quarterback updates of Lamar Jackson's injury, Jimmy G's injury, and Baker Mayfield's new playing spot. And then we're going to touch on, is Odell going to play this year? And if he does, where exactly is he going to play? And to end it off, we're going to touch on the nationally televised games coming on ESPN tonight of the Atlanta Hawks at the New York Knicks and the Boston Celtics at the Phoenix Suns. Let's get right into it, gang gang. So let's go back to Tuesday night, TNT basketball, the first game, Los Angeles Lakers at the Cleveland Cavaliers, homecoming for LeBron James. Anthony Davis leaves out in the game early in the first quarter. What did I take away from this game? The game played out exactly how I expected it to play out. I was a little bit disappointed that Anthony Davis wasn't able to go the entire time. You could see that it clearly affected the Los Angeles Lakers and how they run their offense. Now they're heavily and highly dependent on Anthony Davis and his paint presence right now. And personally, I wanted to see how Anthony Davis was going to be able to perform against a very athletic front line of Emmanuel Mosley and then Jared Allen, who both had good games yesterday. So to me, it played out exactly how I expected it, especially with no Anthony Davis, losing by 14. The Cavaliers pulled away at the end. Donovan Spider Mitchell out there doing his thing, 43 points, 6 assists, 5 rebounds. So yeah, I was just highly impressed. The Cleveland Cavaliers have come out like not gangbusters, but probably that third best team in the Eastern Conference right now behind the Boston Celtics and the Milwaukee Bucks. So I'm highly impressed by what I'm seeing from the Cleveland Cavaliers. And you could just tell that Anthony Davis is clearly the MVP for the Los Angeles Lakers, and they weren't the same team without Anthony Davis. Good thing is it was only flu-like symptoms that kept him out of the game, so it wasn't like it was an injury or nothing like that. He should be back in the lineup very soon. Hopefully by the Sixers game at least. I want to see some Embiid versus Anthony Davis. You dig what I'm saying to you? Let's move on. Let's touch on the NFL, and we got a few quarterback updates to touch on and break down. So let's start it off. Lamar Jackson and his injury update. Lamar Jackson was updated on his injury to a PCL sprain, out 1 to 3 weeks. What does this mean for Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens moving forward? To me, this just means that the Baltimore Ravens and Lamar Jackson have everything that they want to accomplish still in front of them. You look at their next 3-4 games, I think it's Steelers, Browns, Steelers, Falcons, and then they ended off playing in Cincinnati. So they have to have Lamar back for that Cincinnati game, but you look at the other 4 games. So you think about it, they should be able to win those games with Tyler Huntley at quarterback, who's been a very good backup for Lamar Jackson over the past 4 years and hasn't, I think he has a winning record in his replacement time for Lamar Jackson. So They should be able to stay afloat, get Lamar Jackson back by the Cincinnati Bengals game, still head into the playoffs, hopefully, and then Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens can go on a playoff run. So to me, Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens just have everything that they want to accomplish still in front of them, with them avoiding any major injury to Lamar Jackson. Jimmy G avoids lisfranc injury and avoids surgery. They're saying he could be back in 7 to 8 weeks. What does this mean for Jimmy Garoppolo and my San Francisco 49ers? To me, he's still out. 7 to 8 weeks would mean that he's coming back in the NFC Championship game or the NFC Divisional round. If Brock Purdy takes us that far, we're not going to come back and bring in Jimmy Garoppolo, who's not an elite athlete. He doesn't have elite arm strength. I mean, what would we be bringing him back for if Brock Purdy would have been taking us that far so far? Like, it doesn't make any sense. So to me, it just means that Jimmy Garoppolo, he's still done in San Francisco. I don't see him coming back, especially if Brock Purdy takes us to an NFC Championship game or NFC Divisional round. You know Trey Lance is coming back to be the starter next year. So to me, it's just the end of an era for Jimmy G and my San Francisco 49ers. Glad to have you. Want to say this. I'm not happy that it happened, but I called it. Like, the dude gets hurt every single year that he played for my San Francisco 49ers besides the 2019-2020 year we went to the Super Bowl. And that's because we was handing the ball off to Raheem Mostert 80% of the time. You feel what I'm saying? So, I mean, it's sad and everything, but he has an injury issue. He just cannot stay healthy, and he just can't stay healthy. And then he's not athletic, so he can't get out the pocket. So it's a lot that goes on with Jimmy, but somebody will give him a shot. He just won't be coming back as a backup to my San Francisco 49ers. Baker Mayfield was waived yesterday by the Carolina Panthers, then subsequently picked up off of waiver wires by the Los Angeles Rams. Is this the last run for Baker Mayfield in the NFL? What does this mean for the Rams moving forward? To me, yes, this says the last run for Baker Mayfield in the NFL. When you look at him getting tag team with one of the brightest offensive minds in the NFL game, Sean McVay, and having a person that's going to put him in the best position to be successful. If he doesn't go out there and get some wins and look like a number 1 overall pick, hit some passes, then he's done in the NFL. There's no more excuses. You get what I'm saying? You couldn't beat out P.J. Walker and Sam Darnold in Carolina. You get what I'm saying? You ran OBJ and Jarvis Landry out of Cleveland. So when you look at the culmination of his career, it's just a disappointment. And he has this opportunity right now to resurrect it. And if he doesn't, then he's over in the NFL, because I don't think you bring Baker Mayfield in to be a backup. I really don't. So for me, I think the Rams, they will probably keep him to be a backup if he can come around, lose that ego. He's in La La Land, so he won't be as big of a star out there. So maybe he can stay with the Rams and be a backup to Matt Stafford for the next few seasons if he plays well to finish off this season. But hey, listen, if he doesn't play well, he's gone. He's gone. And for me, I feel like the Los Angeles Rams are just like, we're not going to throw in the towel on the season. We're going to continue to try to get better. The people that we have at the quarterback position right now aren't adequate enough, and we feel as though we can pull the best out of Baker Mayfield. If they don't, it's not. I mean, the season is going for them anyway. It's not like they feel like they about to win the Super Bowl or go back to back with Baker Mayfield. Like, no. So for me, the Rams, this is just an experiment, kicking the tires on Baker Mayfield if he'd be a good backup, because Matt Stafford has some injury issues as well. So we don't know what his future is going to be like. So yeah, I like the pickup for the Rams, but hey, Bake, if you don't ball out, you out after this year. You out in the NFL, bro. Let's move on. Is Odell Beckham going to play this year? And if so, where? I asked, is Odell Beckham going to play this year? Because why hasn't he signed? He's not working out. Is he even healthy? He tore his ACL in the Super Bowl just this past February. So when you think about his recovery process, where he'll be at and what he'll be asked to do, to me, I think the perfect fit would possibly be Dallas. But then they just said that they had an update, or they got a bead on his injury update, claiming that it's not as far along as he's claiming it to be. So if he can't come back until the last week or the second to last week of the season, I don't know how many teams are going to be clamoring the lineup to sign OBJ. I really don't. They might just be like, hey, listen, we're going to rock out this year, but we'll holler at you in the offseason. You can go on your recruitment tour again. You get what I'm saying? I just don't, I don't know, because it'll be a lot to ask to come in the last week of the season or the second to last week of the season and have a winning impact on the game. So to me, that's a tall ask for any franchise of Odell Beckham if he's still far behind in his rehab right now, because you got to think about it's December now. We got to think about, bro, we gearing up towards the playoffs. You get what I'm saying? So, and then I think you also don't want to off-put any of the other weapons that you may have on your teams. Like if you're talking about the Buffalo Bills, you don't want to off-put Stephon Diggs and Gabe Davis just to bring in Odell Beckham. You don't want to off-put CeeDee Lamb and Michael Gallup if you just want to bring in, if you're Dallas and you just want to bring in Odell. So to me, if you're bringing him in, he has to be healthy. He has to come in and prove that he's going to impact the game in a positive way. It can't be just, we just bringing in Odell like he's some lucky rabbit's foot or something. Like the Rams wasn't stacked last year. You get what I'm saying? So, hey, to me, I'm going to say yes, he's going to play this year. I say Odell is probably going to end up signing with the Kansas City Chiefs, because I don't see him going to Buffalo. It's way too cold, and I think Dallas is getting backing a little off, and I feel like Kansas City is looking at it like, we could use that little juice in our offense. So to me, I do see him playing this year, and I think it's going to be with the Kansas City Chiefs. Let's move on to the NBA and touch on the ESPN nationally televised games of the Atlanta Hawks at the New York Knicks and the Boston Celtics at the Phoenix Suns. To me, I'm looking at this Hawks at Knicks game. I probably ain't even going to tune into this, John. I like Atlanta and what they're doing, but I just don't like the Knicks. They're not entertaining to me. You feel what I'm saying? Like, I like Jalen Brunson, his game. He's good and all that. Julius Randle, he's good. They're both solid basketball players, solid stars in the NBA, but they don't pop to me. There's no excitement. So to me, if I do tune in, it'll be for Ice Trae and DeJounte Murray. So I'll probably tune into it just to see how they perform in Madison Square Garden. You got Ice Trae going into Madison Square Garden, so I'm expecting a huge game from Ice Trae. So I'm going to say at least 35-10 from Trae Young and a win for the Atlanta Hawks. I'm going to say the Atlanta Hawks over the Knicks. 113-108. 113-108. I think the Knicks are going to come out. They're going to play well, but I think the Hawks are going to pull it out at the end. Let's move on to the Boston Celtics at the Phoenix Suns. For me, this is the premier game, the primetime game of tonight. You got the Boston Celtics, the Eastern Conference winner, the winner of the Eastern Conference last year. Then you got the Phoenix Suns, the winner of the Western Conference 2 years ago, had the best record in the league last year. To me, I don't know, man. I think the Suns got to come out there and make a statement that they can go up against one of the top dogs that is viewed as still one of the title favorites, because I feel like the Phoenix Suns have fallen out of that, oh, we think that the Phoenix Suns can win a title. They're just still a good team. You get what I'm saying? Like, we know that they're going to win a lot of games. We know they're going to be a top 3 seed in the West. But I don't think anybody's out there saying that, hey, yo, look out for the Phoenix Suns. They might win it all this year. I don't think at all. So they got to come out there, and I feel like they have to defend that home court in which they got beat on by Luka Doncic and the Dallas Mavericks in Game 7 last year of the Western Conference semifinals. So I'm going to still go with the Boston Celtics. I love what Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown are doing out there. Then they got Malcolm Brogdon coming off of the bench. The new coach out there, they're just doing their thing, not backing down and trying to revamp and build on what they built last year. I like what I'm seeing from the Boston Celtics just in general. They're probably the best team in the league right now. You're picking between them and the Bucks. I'm gonna probably lean towards the Boston Celtics right now. I see combined 55 or more from Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, and I'm not gonna say a big win. I'm gonna say another close game. I see the Boston Celtics pulling out a close one. I'm gonna say this one is gonna be more like 111 to 109. 111-109 Boston Celtics over the Phoenix Suns in Phoenix, Arizona. Let me know what y'all think though. QB updates, Lamar Jackson injury update, Jimmy G injury update, Baker Mayfield playing location update. Is this Baker Mayfield's last chance in the NFL? Anthony Davis out early in the first quarter of a 102-116 loss to the Cleveland Cavaliers. 43-6-5 from Spider Mitchell. What did y'all think of that game? Does Odell play this year, and where does he play, with him still being on the recruitment trail and the Dallas Cowboys saying they have a bead on his injury update? And then who do y'all have in the primetime NBA matchups that's coming on ESPN tonight of the Atlanta Hawks at the New York Knicks and the Boston Celtics at the Phoenix Suns? MadMizzy Sports. Like, comment, share, subscribe, listen, alert. MizzyWorld Entertainment. Gang.